Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM23, Newton Heath, episode 19, and it is the beginning of our third season of this playthrough. Of course, last season, the big highlight was that we moved into the new stadium, and the big highlight entering the new season is that we are now professional. As a professional club, we have started paying players, and with the money rolling in from the giant stadium and support that we bring, we're going to be good, but how soon will we get there? What we're finding right now is acquiring players is rather difficult because all the players that we are trying to bring in, not all, but the majority of the players we are trying to bring in are attracting interest from higher tier clubs. And even though we can pay them as much or more, the fact that they are higher tier clubs and we ourselves are low reputation, they're picking the other options. So really the roster has not gotten much better. But the media dream 11, our two guys that made the list of key players, they're both in this, Hammond and Wilson. Wilson will not be playing in our season opener, though, as he is still suspended from the end of last season. But we are up to third in terms of odds on 7-2. Got a good chance at promotion this season. We are going to focus on it. Let's hope we can achieve it, because half the guys that have those contracts under a promise of getting promoted this season. Up first, though, on the road at league favorites, Kidderminster, who just missed promotion last season. Selection not easy for this first match for a number of reasons. Most of the players that are unavailable and unselected are that because I cannot pick them. I mean, we have a number of trialists. I only have offers in on a couple of those guys. Others I'm still waiting to see. We are looking and going to continue to look for new talent to sign as the season goes on. Right now, I'm still focused on defense for that at the moment. But Chadwick, broken leg, he's going to be out for 2 to 3 months, and that's one of our best players. Would be first team all day, every day. Wilson, our best player, still suspended, as just mentioned a moment ago. Jessup and Josh Lane are the only eligible players who did not make the first 11 or bench. On that bench, Ebanks, Sams, Marriott, guys that they were key players at one point, but are, these days very much at the bottom end of that bench. Dickinson, the only decent talent who has failed to make the first 11, meaning I had a little bit of a selection headache with literally just 12 decent players to pick from, but we have managed to get an okay first 11. Tozer back in defense instead of midfield. That allowed Whitehall, who is easily our 12th man. He's easily our best bench player. In fact, he's one of our best players, period, on paper, but reality, I look at what qualities he has and goes, yeah, he's not that great. Hence the 12th man. But new players in Tyler Walker, Shaq Ford, and Lapalo Bai are all in. Not yet very tactically familiar. Same with Whitehall. So those, actually, I think all four of those are new guys. And Kenlock, I don't remember if we brought in Kenlock last season and he just didn't play, or if he's also a new signing. No, he did. He's been with us for a while. Not doing terribly well, though. He is one of those has gotten worse players. So big test to open the season on the road at the league favorites. If we can come away even with just a point today, we'd really be setting ourselves up well for the season to come, especially when you consider that we're playing down a few guys. We're definitely not playing with our the best squad that's going to be seeing the pitch this season. This is probably one of the worst lineups we're going to be seeing throughout the season because we're still on the hunt for players. We're still looking for players. We're still looking to fill out the squad. So, there's going to be 3 or 4 better players that find their way into the 11 as the season goes on. Then, of course, we're missing our best player. We've got an injury to probably our 4th best player. So that combination is Andrew goes close. Andrew is in the side. Andrew should not be starting. The guys that I was talking about on the bench, Andrew should be one of those. So, with some holes still in this lineup, as Andrew resets to Hammond. Hammond crosses, Lapalabai, that's blocked, that's another corner. So far, all over them. It is not just started, though. We've already played 20 minutes. Whitehall's going to recover this clearance. Laid off for Kenlock, who sends it forward. And I'm not sure if that was the keeper or a defender who took that one away. Kenlock, nice diving tackle there. And they get their first chance. Not their first chance. Their 3rd chance of the game. We've had 5. We have not put anything on target. Nice through ball for Ford. He's in. Yeah, he's going to go far post. Tried to do it himself. I really thought he should have laid that off for the striker, for Walker. Kenlock lays it off for Ford there, like Ford should have done moments ago, and we still have not managed to get a shot on target, but we are approaching already a 1 in the XG department. We are all over them at the moment. Walker, good first touch. That is going to take a deflection. Not sure if that was the defender or the keeper, but that one was brushed aside. Whitehall cannot win that one. Lapalabai recovers, flashes it across, but nobody on the end of it. At least they're making a better decision now than what they were before. 10 shots already, but still no goals. They're looking really strong. Ford to Walker. Walker, that's blocked. Lapalabai is going to pick it up, though. Flash it in. Ooh, for a second, thought maybe he would be earning a penalty on that one. Is that crafty pullback easily could have drawn that contact. It did not. That's deflected. Killip picks it up. And that was just their, I think, 4th attempt of the half. It was. We did finally get 1 shot on target out of 12. Clearly dominating that first half, though. We're going to have to come out in the same manner in the second half, though, if we want to even come away with a point, as, it's a good team. No changes to a side that's playing well on the road, though goalless. Matty Jacob, another one of those, not the guy I want to be in the starting lineup. There is, I'd say, 4 or 5 of those. Let's go down that list. Let's go down that list of who I'd like to see replaced. Killip. Killip's okay as a goalkeeper, but we could do better. There is better out there. Just have not found the right guy yet, as that through ball is a bit too long and a bit too far away, but we're going to get a second chance here, and that was definitely not offside because their guy retreated a long way to get that clearance and put us on. Whitehall, long ball over the top for Lapalabai. That was a nice cross. Kenlock lays it off for Whitehall. Inside to Lapalabai. That should have been a goal right there. That's your chance you cannot miss. But anyway, Jacob, obviously, he is a decent backup, especially being, fullback either side, as Killip forced into making a save there. Fortunately, it was just over his head, and he was able to jump up and grab it and hang on to it. So Jacob shouldn't be starting at either fullback position. I want him on the bench to back up the fullbacks. Kenlock, the guy behind Jacob in that role, definitely should not be starting either. So both fullbacks are a bit of a liability. Nice ball there. Ford keeps it in. Dances. Walker. Good save. Really good save. Positionally, maybe there was more open goal, but there was a lot of defenders in the way. So where your space was is where your space was. He put the ball where he had to, as Elliott makes a great play, and Killip, nightmare defending from Killip, does not play the angle well, does not take it away from Elliott well. That was just a fantastic individual play there from Elliott. But seeing where that ball was going, Kickoff needed to attack. Kickoff should have been diving on that ball, preventing that last touch. And that last touch put it past Kickoff quite easily. And time's up. Time's up. We're going to lose. We dominate today and we get FM'd. Way too late for subs now. I swear that happened inside the hour mark, and then I don't know when the goal was. I thought it was inside the hour mark, but literally the next highlight was final minute of stoppage time. So there was absolutely no chance to come back from that one. It was not at the hour mark. It was much later than I thought. But it went from, we were total domination to they get one chance and they capitalize. We could not capitalize. It's not your classic FM, as in, total domination and then lose anyway. But absurdly disappointing to have such terrible finishing today and come away with no points. The good news, though, is the best team in the league. We could go on the road and outplay them with a 1.5 squad. And gosh, I only got through the defense. That second half was gone in a flash. I couldn't even go through which guys, but let's finish that conversation before we move forward. So Kickoff, Jacob, Kenlock, love to see all of them replaced. These guys are good. Whitehall, even though he's our 12th man, he's good. I don't mind having him in the lineup. He's definitely a better option than these guys coming off the bench. Ford is okay in the lineup. He's another one of those like Whitehall in a pinch. I don't mind him being on the pitch. He's good enough to be there. You see he actually performed decently well. He was the only attacking player that did so. So Shaq Ford's fine. But Lapalobai, that's a bench guy. I don't want him as a starter. Andrew, definitely not. You see how terrible he was. 6.2 rating. We're going to have a conversation with him after this game to see if we can improve his focus. And then Walker had a bad day, but he is quality. Finishing was not there today, and that is that worry about our guy who just retired. Oh my gosh, I'm quick at forgetting names. Better all-around player, but will he have that same instinct in front of goal? Today, he did not. Today, he was playing the best team in the league, though, and we certainly weren't beating the best team in the league last year either, so we'll give him a pass on the first one, but we'll have a conversation with him as well for that poor performance. But yeah, Kickoff, largely responsible for that goal. Tozer or Tierney, whoever that was. Elliott that was a brilliant first touch on that header from Elliott and that quick turn. A smart player would have grabbed that player and drug him down the moment that header happened. Grab that jersey, yank him back, stop him right there before he can ever go forward and take that yellow card. That didn't happen. Professional foul wasn't there, even if they were sent off. That's a clear, you have to stop them, and there's no way that they're chasing them back down, unless you have them beat for pace, and we didn't. So I'm guessing that was probably a Tozer, because Tozer's not that quick of a player. But Kickoff, right, when that ball just was coming into the box, Kickoff needed to full-on dive onto that ball, and instead he hesitated, let the guy take one more touch, and that was an easy finish. So yeah, that was not all on Kickoff, but that was mostly on Kickoff on the finish, but mostly on Elliott for just good goal. But we should have scored minimum one, probably two in that game. We 1.5 XG wise, we were in between 1 to 2 goals at the very least, and most of their XG came off of the goal. The Elliott, that was half their XG. So they were fortunate to get one, and we were very unfortunate to come away with nothing. I would say, on the balance, based on that goal from Elliott, should have finished 1-1. Should have at least come away with a point, which I would have been happy with today. So I still don't know if this is a result of the new skin, the Jimbo skin that I'm running, and they actually added this button in, found a way to make it exist, or if it was the new FM update, because those two things happened at the same time for me. I started using the skin the same time that I launched the game with the new update in place, and it was a pretty major update. But this instant result button, oh my gosh, I am such a fan, because vacation is not the best way to play FM. But unless you're going to manage every single game, and if you're playing over the course of many seasons, and unless you only FM and you don't do other games, right, you cannot manage every single game as you go through. And not just preseason or things, during the season. Having this instant result button, huge fan. And we're going to be using that a lot more. No more vacations, instant results. I did get a new signing, Leston Hughes. Not a big upgrade. He's barely better than a Matty Jacob, but it's something. It's good enough to get him into the starting lineup. Oh, 5-0. Wow. I like that. 4-0 at halftime. They had a guy sent off in the 26th minute. That all contributes, but it was already 3-0 by the time they had a guy sent off. Wilson, back from his suspension, scores early. Walker gets 2 goals. Andrew and then Whitehall all managed to get on there. It's 30-1 in the shots with 16 on target, 64% possession. I love it. That's how you do it. Now, Farsley, I don't know where do they stand. Let's see if there was anything to take from that, because clearly it's not Kidderminster, who's already 2-0. Farsley, who had just been promoted, are predicted to finish 18th in terms of odds. They're in that 15th to 18th range. Not a bad side, but not a good side. So you got to take that one with a little bit of a grain of salt that we got a performance against them. But all of a sudden, new odds makers have us on top. Same starting 11 for our road game against Buxton. Tactical familiarity getting a little bit better for some of these guys. We've picked up another minor injury with Ebanks. We picked up another minor injury, or Tierney. Was that before the last one or this one? I don't know. But either way, should be okay. It's a road game, though. Last game was at home. Huge crowd at home. We seem to play better. More so than you even normally would. So let's see what happens with the instant result. 0-0. So goalless. We controlled the match. We had better than 3/5 on possession. We had 6-1 shots on target. We had 12-8 overall shots. Just could not get the ball in the back of the net. And again, that starts to make you wonder about Walker. Seems to be a little inconsistent so far to start the season. At least we come away with a point, but not the greatest start to the year. But again, we have been very shorthanded early on, and 2 road matches, and top team Kidderminster, who themselves have already drawn, so they have not been perfect either. Help us out a little bit more there, give us another option. So pretty happy now with the center backs, defensive mids. I also just had a look scouting wise through kind of the available defensive mids over the last week, and not seeing any that jump out as options. Almost done with that list of defensive mids. Fullbacks, not happy with what we have, but what we have is what we're going to have for the time being. Kind of taking a look at the squad, and at least the assistant manager view of where we're at this stage. Charlie Wilson, of course, is great. And then we just added in Leston Hughes, who's, like I said, assistant manager likes him at 3.5 stars. I don't think he's actually there. I do think he's a 2.5 to 3 star kind of guy. He is ever so slightly better than Matty Jacob. And then you also have we have Brennan Dickinson, but he's more of an attacking winger than and maybe I need to see what he can do compared to Elliot Andrew. I need to give him a start. The only reason why I didn't start him in the last one was Elliot Andrew has done okay, and I only want to introduce so many players at the same time. You introduce too many, and the tactical familiarity is going to fall off, and then they're not going to perform. And you're going to get goalless draws where your attack has too many new guys in it, as it is. Elliot Andrews, the one experienced guy that we've got on top playing, and I don't want to take that away. So I'm trying to ease him in and use Andrew as kind of a stopgap kind of guy, because Andrew is definitely better than Ebanks, even though Ebanks, has performed. He's a pretty weak player when I can. Ebanks is going to be one of the first ones cut. Tom Sams, now that I just added Pierre, Tom Sams could be on his way out, because I think I have other options. Jessup is another one that I think I might be releasing those two quite soon, possibly now, as I've added some depth in places, but we're not deep. Hence the not sure if I'm quite ready to let those guys go. They could still play in a pinch. They can still perform in a pinch. But Luther Williams is now the only player on the upper half of this list that is not on a full contract and getting paid. Ben Tozer is the only one above our other try list, above Matty Jacob, that is not getting paid. So Ben Tozer, and that's the player coach role. And at 34, I'm nervous. Nobody's coming in, and he's just seen as an amateur. Nobody says they want him, and at 34, you can see his skill is falling off. He is our team captain. He is playing every day. But as an amateur, I don't know if he's training more than twice a week. He might perform a little bit better in training if we did get him to a contract. I think eventually I'd love to keep him on just as a coach in the role that he's already doing, just without the player part, once he gets to that point where he's not good enough, and he is edging towards that point. I mean, the addition of Pierre already puts Tozer as kind of the fifth man in those four positions of center backs and defensive mids. He might be seeing the pitch a bit less often, or at least kind of rotating his way out. Following our 4 points in the first three matches performance, we did get a win against Chester 2-0, with new man Aaron Pierre getting an 89th minute second goal to really put that thing away. But then we lost a close one on the road. And Kettering is definitely one of the better teams in the league. And then lost at home in a late goal from FC United, where we absolutely dominated play and could not score. Our XG was over 2. Theirs was like 0.4. And I'm sure most of it came on the goal. They had a couple shot attempts, and that was it. We got FM'd for sure. Those are all in the instant result ones, with myself, to my knowledge at least, at the helm. I'll have to check in on that and see if our numbers are ticking up on how many games we've played, because I decided to go back to the old school, go on vacation for a day with Banbury, and we got our first road win of the season, 1-0. And then we played at home to Scarborough Athletic, and again went on vacation, and it was 3-1. We had 2 goals inside the first 5 minutes on that one. So we've been performing better when I actually go on vacation than when we're doing the instant result. Some of that could be, or a lot of that could be, the fact that the assistant manager is far better than I am. Let's check in on that before we wrap this episode up, because it has been a while. We're also a month and a half into the season. We've had a handful of home games now. Four home games? Guessing our balance is a bit better off than it was before. FA Cup has not started. We're going to be in that here fairly soon. Here is my profile now. It has changed. Attacking and defending have gone from 1s to 2s, but my fitness is still just a 4. Goalkeeper handling is now a 2. And motivating is now a 2. I do not have my my license though, so it's still, I'm really surprised about how long that's taken, because I thought they said 4 months beginning in June. Should be done anytime though. So my performance has not been great. No, it has not. But you can see why, right? And anybody is better than what my ratings are. But then that begs the question, what do you take? Because the assistant manager isn't going to be with us for long. He's with us right now. And with him, we are better. But he won't be with us forever. I'm always going to be here. So if we always leave it to assistant managers, we're kind of, there's going to be hit and miss. Or do I just take control and suffer through this season, knowing that we're not actually going to end up getting promoted, most likely, as we won't get the results we need because, the manager is garbage. But through managing the team, I'll get better. Motivating, the discipline, the knowledge, and the coaching attributes will eventually get better. But handling training is what's going to do that. And, handing it over to the assistant manager without going on vacation is going to make that one go better faster. So there's your trade-off once again, right? Well, whichever one we pick, we're going to have to get on with something soon, because Kidderminster only have that one draw and a +7. +12. We have a +7, but with 3 losses already, we're only 7th in the league. Chester, Scarborough, who we've just recently played, Buxton, Banbury. We've already played all of the teams in the promotion playoffs except one, bar one. Blythe Spartans, that's the only team we have not played yet that are above us in the standings, which means we've actually had a pretty tough start because we've only played 8 matches and there's 5 of the opponents out of 6 possible at the top. 23 teams in that first round of opponents. Farsley near the bottom, we crushed. Kettering we beat comfortable. So maybe it's not all that bad. But we are 9 points off of Kidderminster right now. So if we are going to reach playoff as a minimum, if we're going to get promotion, which, a third of the roster expects to happen this season as a promise, if we're going to get promotion, it does beg that question. On which version to go for. But with a balance now of over 13 million, I think it's time to make a board request or 2. Apparently, it is way too recent for the training facilities to ask for the next level, so we'll ask for an increase of youth level for the facilities. All right, so we are making progress with the board here. Once again, we're going to spend $220,000. I mean, it's peanuts at this point compared to the money we are rapidly bringing in here. Project is going to start in August. No. I think the dates are set. That's going to be in 2 months. So that's going to take place in 2 months. That we're going to start that in November. It will be done in March of next season. And yeah, youth facilities are what's getting upgraded on this one. That's going to be our second upgrade related to youth. It's going to take at least a third, because there's 3 different categories with that one, to even see a player in an intake that is going to be worthy of hanging on to. But this, gosh, when is our intake? Is it March? Is this going to be done before? Is it going to kick in before to show something? It's going to have more to do with development of players anyway than what we actually get for the intake. So we're going to need some other advances along the way. But slow start to the season. We're not in a terrible place, but it's definitely a slow start to the season. And of course, I found that the AI manages better than myself. We already knew that through the first couple of seasons, but we're seeing it in play in the early days of this season. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.